The landscape we now operate in as an industry is more challenging than ever for players, administrators, boards, coaches, and this is leading to a wide range of issues around contentment. I hope that in the future we can find a better balance in how we view the game, regardless of result. Otherwise, I do fear for the people's genuine love of the game. Oh, well, certainly the general pressure that goes when you're losing games of footy in this town is real.
You know, you could work, if you had a few games interstate, and you could work 20 days straight in the month and probably not really be as present as you should be with your family, and that's a little bit of a worry. And, you know, coaches take on 100 people, let alone their own family and themselves. So they have a lot of gratitude and appreciation for having the position, but they've also got to make sure they're looking after themselves.
There you go, a couple of the coaches talking there. There'll be CEOs all around Australia going, yeah, well, bad luck, suck it up. That's what we do every day of the week. What is the situation, or have they been left? Are they not being prepared? And sometimes are the wrong people getting to the top job and being promoted above their station? They're all the questions that need to come about. We're talking about it tonight because of the horrific situation we've seen during the week with the arrest of Dean Laidley. We don't need to go into the ins and outs of all that situation, other than we hope that Dean is able to get himself right in the next period of time. He's got the support of the AFL world, no doubt about that. And of course, there are other police issues arising from that situation. Caroline and Ross and Lloydie, I just want to put it to you. Ross, can I go to you first of all? The scrutiny in the top job is extreme. We know that. It's one thing, Caro, as I've said to you before, writing the lead story. It's another being the lead story on a regular basis.
It does happen to coaches more than CEOs here. I know CEOs are under pressure. I'm talking about CEOs of big business, not footy CEOs. Yeah, but no one is under more pressure than a coach.
Which is the point I'm getting to now, and that is when the spotlight comes. We say in football, when your turn comes, you've got to go. Well, in football, coach, when the crosshairs hit you, there's nowhere to move. You've got family, and sometimes you feel totally isolated. Can you take us through the scenario?
Well, it's what you sign up for, though. It's a performance industry, so I've never shied away from that. And my family, I never felt that they took a hit. And I just felt at school and they were supported. I didn't see, but they were young. They were young. But I think we've got to be careful. My view is, I understand there's been some high-profile situations of former AFL.
This was the last couple of weeks of your time at yeah,
it was a little bit quiet.
Yeah, you copped a bit.
That's Ross. You mentioned, we talked on Monday night. We talked about James Hird, who was institutionalised for a period.
Which is hard to comprehend.
And we talked about Mark Thompson and his drug issues and mental health issues, and obviously the tragic death of Danny Frawley. Is that because they were senior coaches?
I don't believe so. I think we've got to separate it out. I think let's cover the scrutiny is in. The AFL's been quoted. They did an in-service with CEOs last year. They're worried about senior coaches, and the shift in the media and social media. AFL coaches are under more scrutiny and pressure than anyone in the country bar the Prime Minister. And when you look at the papers and you pick them up, and it's the easiest story for some journalists to write, and a majority, and I'm not potting them for that. The lead into the sacking and then the killing of the coach, that's an easy, and it's the easiest thing for boards to do is to sack a senior coach, because it's easier to sack the coach than dive in to deeper problems. Is it recruiting?
And is that the issue, Ross? Are coaches left too much, even within a football club? You know, you feel the pressure. The pressure goes on to the board, friends, family are all in them. What are you doing? Why don't you get rid of him? Haven't you got the guts to do so? All that sort of stuff. And then the easier decision is to sack the coach.
Oh, it's the easiest thing in the world. And it is the right thing sometimes, because you've got to sell hope. And I respect the decision. It doesn't mean it's the right decision, say, with me. But I understand why those things are done. But there's a couple of things. When I got the job, Rob Butters said to me, AFL coaching takes grown men to places they never should go. And I was like, what's he talking about? By the end of it, I understood him, and you look around. But I think the situation we're talking around this week, I think it's not the job. It's not the scrutiny of the job. There are deeper issues at play here, and personality traits and decisions and choices along the way, and filled with potholes, and you're only as good as your next moment. And it could be at the end of it, it's about your purpose, it's about career, it's about skill set. There's a lot to go into these pots. The sheet at home to it's the senior coaches. Look, they fall from grace, but it all depends what you value and what you seek and what your thirst is.
Ross, I want to have a look at what your great friend and former boss, Paul Roos, had to say about your treatment in that last year. He, Oh, yeah, here we go. Sorry, how's my reading? He basically said you were hounded out of the job, and it was basically a payoff for greater media access. So it was responsible for your treatment. He was obviously horrified by what happened. Did you feel, and I think, was it the West Australian got a new editor in recent years? And
Anthony DeSeglia, yeah.
And the treatment of you seemed to change as a result, and there was some pretty... I mean, maybe you were going to be sacked anyway.
Probably.
And you obviously, you know, over the years, your defensive coaching was criticised. You had some off-field issues that got an enormous amount of scrutiny. And in the end, do you think the media just smelt blood and...
Well, I think no doubt they wanted to get a paywall. I saw the shift in the Western Australian, and they acknowledged it, and they said Ross is our Trump. We write, he gets clicks, and it's a money business. So I get that, but the harassment, to me, with photographers coming in flashes and running it, and you know the shutter speed, and it was as intense of an experience. But you know what? Good luck to them. All I know, if I keep winning, I'm in a job. At 9-3, there wasn't one bad article. But then as we started to lose, it came quickly. So I'm one that just cops it and goes, no problem.
Lloydie, can I ask you? You've watched a lot of your friends go into these situations. Sometimes the person, do they take on too much? I mean, we've seen the cult of coaching from Barassi and, you know, Sheeds would just throw the magnets around and magic would happen and you'd win. And we got into that sort of cult. Do coaches now think they have to be the marketer, the president, the philosopher, all these things because of what Sheedy did? Do they take too much on, is what I'm saying? Should they just coach and be good at coaching?
I think it's been amazing sometimes what has happened if you've got the right people around you. I never forget when Bomber Thompson was under pressure and Neil Baum said, you're doing this, you're doing that. You don't worry about that. You just worry about coaching the team. And it's quite funny that Barmy ends up at the Richmond Football Club and Damien Hardwick, who we've got a grab of him speaking about himself through a documentary and where he got it at in his life.
I wasn't the man that I wanted to be. I wasn't the fun, happy-go-lucky coach that I generally was. I sort of felt embarrassed and humiliated that we're in the situation that we were. I got to the stage where I wouldn't even go out and get a coffee. I couldn't bear to face the scrutiny of what people were saying about me and more importantly, my club. My wife spoke to me about, listen, you're not the guy that I love or know anymore. You've changed. And
he was one of the most relaxed teammates. Sheeds actually was going to sack Damien Hardwick when I first got to the club because he said, you're too relaxed. Hardwick did a hamstring, having a kick-to-kick with a mate the day before a game, and Sheeds said, you're on your last chance. Got to get more professional. And it's amazing. We never expected to become the coach he's become.
Yeah, he's turned around. And we did the leadership course at Harvard together, and the one key message was, be more childlike. Go back and enjoy yourselves like you did as kids. And he came back from that course and was more childlike and enjoyed himself.
I mean, it sort of flips back to the last segment where I mentioned the WA Premier. Why do we always now try and turn what is the best game, the best fun and the wonderful industry to make it sound like we're going to the salt mines every week? Everything along the way, if you've watched, you know, the response from the players or the Players Association has been a negative no, no, no. Whereas everyone who goes to footy loves it. The reason why we're all involved, why we're here tonight, because we love the game.
And the